Shalom, privyet, salut tout le monde, and welcome. Alright, so I felt I really had to make this video because just the comments that I've received on the whole Charlie Kirk, is it fake? I really believed it wasn't. I talked to a couple friends of mine, good friends of mine. I've been reading your comments, been looking into the things you guys told me I need to look into, and it would be it'd be very irresponsible for me not to say you guys have a very good point. So I just want to go over some of the evidence, just because the biggest reason I would say it makes sense is it doesn't feel right inside my gut that these people are pushing such an anti-Israel agenda all of a sudden, and that on one hand I'm like, okay, maybe the Overton window has shifted so much that they have to, but it sounds like they're up to something, right? And I do believe that one faction of the Jews are planning a whole second coming Messiah, this whole end of days agenda for the Muslim, Christian, and Jew and religious Jews. But then I also believe there's another faction of Jews that want to destroy all of it, that they want to bring in a new form of government, a new form of religion. They want to they're Gnostics in the highest. They want to destroy the God of the Bible, and at the same time the God of the Jews, the God of Islam. They're communists. They're the same as the Bolsheviks who took over Russia and created the Soviet Union. Those Jews are not religious Jews. Okay, they hate God. They hate religion. They want to create an atheistic world, or a world where it's like we worship the Gnostic God. Okay, so look, you guys have been messaging me, telling me that he's not dead, guaranteed. Some of my friends that I trust a lot, they're saying the same thing, and I just want to go over some of the evidence that helped kind of change my mind a bit. So I just want you guys to know that I am neutral on it now. If not, I'm in agreement with it. I think that the evidence is so sketchy. It explains the narrative, but more importantly, I've always viewed Charlie Kirk as an enemy, as hardcore controlled opposition, a multimillionaire, a guy who rides on Air Force One. He pushes the whole left versus right dynamic. He wants to create this division of nonsense. The Bible says don't go left, don't go right, straight is the path. And they push this whole left wing, right wing, yet it's part of the same bird. It's part of the same double-headed eagle, right? So, yeah, let's just go over the evidence that you guys have been sharing with me.
We saw, and he fell backwards. We would see the wound on his neck first, and then we would see his body jump, and possibly some of his clothing move, but something's clearly underneath his shirt. That is very clear to see. That is popping up. Watch again. In his shirt.
Okay, so you guys are right. There's something underneath his shirt. We would see the bullet hole first, and then the sound, right? We wouldn't hear this isn't, it's not in the right order. Okay, so I see what you guys are saying, and I'm listening. That's a very good point. There's clearly something underneath his shirt. And when we see the special effects technology that they have today, like no different than the masks that people wear, they're so convincing. It'd be foolish for people not to think that this is actually some kind of psyop to row us up. Maybe Charlie Kirk will come back in with the second coming of Christ. Do you know? Maybe they're going to have some grand fake deception. They're gung ho rebuilding the temple in Jerusalem. They're doing staged mock sacrifices, animal sacrifices. They've somehow magically chosen a Levitical priesthood, which is impossible to do. There's no way in hell they know who's a Levite priest, descended from Aaron. Everything going on right now is nonsense. The moment they try that third temple, the whole Arabic world, the whole Islamic world will declare war on Israel. So they're gearing us up for a third world war. And at the same time, too, guys, we're very fragile in the West. They knock out our power. They take out our sewage, our water and electricity. Our cities only have X amount of days food supply. We depend on gasoline and trucks bringing, fresh food into the cities, frozen foods, you name it. we are dependent on the electricity, the internet, and everything. And if they were to knock out the power plants, we're in a lot of trouble. Okay, we're brought back to the Stone Age, you know. So
As he falls over, okay, ready? Move back, rewind, watch again. Pump, opposite way. Now forward, pump, up, out of his actual shirt. So there's clearly a mechanism in place.
Is this guy that guy? Compare their faces. He won 6 Emmy Awards, makeup artist, and special effects. This is an artificial created neck. Here, make a hole for the hose. This one here. Or maybe this one here. The camera looks different. Look at the attachment. Look at the reflection of the smartphone. Looks like reload and action. If the carotid arteria are hit, you would lose red fluid the whole time, but not a single drop on the ground. Only a small portion of red fluid on the table visible. The tent is white, no red fluid, but a hypersonic body would pass through like butter. Maybe that's why they want to get the camera, the attachment as fast as possible.
all right, so that is really good. That's a really good point. There's only blood apparently there. There should have been pints of blood everywhere. This would have been a mess, you know. When I was living in Moldova, Ukraine, I spent a New Year's in Kishinev, in the capital of Moldova, and I was out there with an American guy that I just randomly met there, and we were at some little like restaurant pub kind of place, and I think it was called Jack's, and there was a Ukrainian guy, a Ukrainian Israeli, and then a Russian Moldovan, and they got into a fight, and the Israeli Ukrainian guy, it was his wedding, or he was engaged, and they were having some wedding party. Anyways, what happened was, you know, the guy's face got slit open. The Russian Moldovan guy broke, I don't know if it was a beer bottle or a glass. I think it was a glass. And then slit the guy's face. Like, I could see underneath his face. It was such a brutal cut. But the amount of blood that this guy lost, and how fast, just from a cheek wound, you know? And me and this American guy, it was a very interesting experience, because we jumped on we jumped into action. It was like a natural instinct for us, to get involved in some way to defend the guy who's, you know, now he's bleeding everywhere, and now we're helping the guy. And the American guy, you know, grabbed his face and started holding it together, and then I'm next to the American guy, and at this point, just from this little, you know, the American guy's obviously covered in blood, but I was also covered in blood just by being next to them. And so I'm running around trying to find towels and anything I can. Blood is everywhere. And then some old babushka comes out and starts mopping up the blood. And we're freaking out because, you know, none of the Ukrainians or Moldovans are helping, right? It's just me and this American guy. And we're shouting, like, is there an ambulance coming? What's going on? And not all of them can speak English. Only maybe, you know, 20% of them can maybe speak English. And one Moldovan guy just smoking, he just looks at us and goes like, "Hey, America, this is Moldova, not America. The ambulance gets here when gets here. Maybe 50 minutes, 1 hour," something like this. And meanwhile, we're trying to hold this guy's face together, clean up the mess, and there's just blood everywhere. Now this Charlie, my point is, I'll never forget how much blood there was from a cheek wound. The Charlie Kirk would have been emptied. Every drop of blood would have been out of his system, and this Ukrainian guy was starting to turn blue, you know, by the time the ambulance got there, and the blood was everywhere. And I'm remembering that night, and I'm remembering how much blood from the guy's face getting cut open versus if Charlie Kirk, there'd be so much blood, and yet it's just in that one spot. All those people would have been covered in blood, just like I was. I didn't even touch the guy really. Maybe put some towels on him, cleaned up some blood. I was next to them, and I was covered in blood. So these people should just be there should be blood everywhere, is what I'm saying. So I agree with what you're saying, just from my own personal experience. And now we're going to look at just their reactions, what you guys are saying about their reactions.
My condolences to you, sir. My condolences on the loss of your friend Charlie Kirk. May I ask, sir, personally, how are you holding up over the last day and a half, sir?
I think very good. And by the way, right there, you see all the trucks. They've just started construction of the new ballroom for the White House, which is something they've been trying to get, as you know, for about 150 years. And it's going to be a beauty. It'll be
All right, so, sir, Mr. President, how are you doing? Your friend was just murdered. You know, everyone can see it. It's a brutal assassination. How you doing? You know, especially a guy who apparently was almost assassinated the same way. You think there would be, like, some PTSD kicking into Trump. Like, oh, my God, I was almost killed. That could have been me. It should have been me. And what's the guy's reaction? I'm doing great. I'm building a ballroom. Guys, that does not make sense. Trump should have had massive PTSD. Anyone who has PTSD should know it doesn't take a lot to trigger that. Do you know? My friend who witnessed children being raped in Afghanistan can't even listen to children playing half the time at a playground, hearing them scream while they're playing. It sends him into you know, he has like an episode. He can't handle it. You know, he's instantly transported back to that moment, those moments in Afghanistan. I imagine a lot of veterans just seeing what happened to Charlie Kirk triggers their PTSD. So Donald Trump, who was almost assassinated, his son's best friend was just killed. How are you doing, sir? I'm doing great. I'm building a ballroom. I don't know. Doesn't make sense. Now his wife too is extra sketchy. She's a super weird woman. She's doing the Illuminati hand thing. Like, come on. Why do you have to do that? Why do you have to do that? Oh, man, oh, man. Oh, man, oh, man. Okay, so now we're going to just get into more conspiracy weird things, which they do. These people are psychopaths with all the money and boredom in the world. They love to put all their crap inside The Simpsons, inside their movies and all this stuff. So, yeah, in the movie Snake Eyes, believe everything except your eyes. So in this film, I guess people are pointing out that the guy assassinated, there's a planned assassination by some intelligence officers to take down some guy to do with weapons supplying who's shot in the neck. His name is Charlie Kirkland. This is all taking place in one of Trump's buildings. The Simpsons predicted Trump would become president, which is weird. There's Kirkland being shot in the neck. Charlie Kirkland, Kirk, right? Killed by naval intelligence officer over war contracts or something. His wife immediately, either she never loved Charlie, it's all an act, she's a liar, she's not a grieving widow, she's smiling, she's enjoying the fame, she's enjoying the spotlight. She might be higher up than Charlie. You know, her parents apparently have ties to the military-industrial complex. She apparently was running weird businesses in Romania, right, to do with children adoption agencies. Like, I do not trust anyone at Trump's level, right, with children, with after Senator Nancy Schaefer was assassinated, she was murdered alongside her husband. Here's a senator who was openly talking about how Washington, D.C. is run by pedophiles. There's a big pedophile ring, child trafficking, and she wanted to get to the bottom of it. She ends up dead, murdered by her husband, right? Murder-suicide, they ruled it. And you've got these psychopaths running doing something, what was it called? Romanian Angels or something. There's some weird connection with her and children agencies in Romania, apparently. And it's at the same time with Charlie Kirk's assassination, the Epstein files, the Senate voted, oh, well, we're going to keep the Epstein files, sealed. We're not going to release them because we want to protect the people that were affected by it. We don't want names being dropped. It's all nonsense. They don't want to release, apparently, who's on the Epstein list, because I think Trump's on the list. All these people are probably on the list. She's got some weird connections with the military-industrial complex, alongside with her charity does work in Romania with children. That's super sketch. I don't know, guys. There's weird stuff going on. So, yeah, she just doesn't fit the description of a grieving widow. Anybody who's ever lost someone close to them, and this is not how. Look at the look on their faces, their reactions. They're really bad actors, in my opinion. Bring her out, get her to come out, do your Illuminati hand gesture. And I guess what gets me the most is when we get it's not that all these people they have to work together. They're all in right now. If they ever lose control over the mob and the mob storms their little clubhouses, the mob storms the White House, for real, they're all dead. Their children are all dead. It's game over for these people if they ever lose control over the mob, right? So I imagine they're willing to do anything. But, man, she has to do the hand gesture. I don't know. And their handlers might sacrifice all these people. Who knows what's going on? It's also the special effects technology that you guys pointed out that they have. That this looks like a totally real neck. I wouldn't even have questioned that this was fake. Do you know what I mean? Charlie Kirk could be rigged up with something fake. These people this is 10, 15-year-old videos of the special effects that they had 10, 15 years ago. And these are just normal dudes. What does the CIA have? What do intelligence agencies have? We see what they could do with masks. Who knows? They can make this if I saw this, I would think this is real 100%. I wouldn't if this was happening in front of me, right? So I don't know, guys. I don't know. I think yeah. Anyways, now we're gonna talk about possible reasons. Albert Pike to Mazzini. And these are probably forgeries, but they're interesting nonetheless. And I'm just going to bring this up because the last point kind of makes sense. So this is apparently letters from Albert Pike to a revolutionary named Mazzini in 1871. He's talking about how the First World War was created to take out the Tsar, install communism, and to weaken religion, weaken Christianity. That's the reason for the First World War. The Second World War, and the reason why I think this could be fake, and it probably is that you're going to see that the Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed, that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel in Palestine. During the Second War, international communism must become strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which would be then restrained and held in check until the time when we would need it for the final social cataclysm. So I just don't know why the term Nazism, which I don't think was coined until much later, and this is like also implying that all of fascism, all of Hitler was all pre-engineered, which Adam Green and other guys suggest is what happened, which I don't think is the case. I don't know why they're in 1871 they're already using this term Nazism, which wouldn't come out for another 50 years. So it is weird. But the Third World War part does get me. The Third World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences caused by the agents of the Illuminati, between the political Zionists and the leaders of the Islamic world. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam, the Muslim Arab world, and political Zionism, the state of Israel, mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to the fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, okay, and we shall provoke a formidable social cataclysm, which in its horror will show clearly to the nations the effect of absolute atheism, origin of savagery, and of the most bloody turmoil. Okay? Then everywhere, the citizens obliged to defend themselves against the world's minority of revolutionaries will exterminate those destroyers of civilization, and the multitude, disillusioned with Christianity, whose deistic spirit will from that moment be without compass or direction, anxious for an ideal, but without knowing where to render its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out in the public view. The manifestation will result from the general reactionary movement, which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time. So, I mean, that's a weird letter, and it's kind of like the protocols of the Elders of Zion, where you could say, oh, they're forgeries, but at the same time, they're coming true, right? And I do believe that there are two branches of Judaism. One branch that truly, smaller branch, want to rebuild the temple, which they have, or which they are doing, they've already chosen priests, they've built all the temple artifacts, they're getting ready for sacrificing, they've chosen a Levitic priest of Aaron priesthood. And I can see them planning a second coming, and maybe Charlie Kirk will be resurrected and be with this fake Messiah, and a bunch of people that we thought were dead were actually alive and brought back to life. Who knows? I don't know what to make of the Charlie Kirk thing. They're definitely planning to redo the second coming of Christ, the coming of a Jewish Messiah, but it might be what comes after that, where they're going to push the Islamic world into war, the Christian world into war, the Jews into war, a third world war. Who knows? We're just speculating. I'm not promoting anything. I'm just saying something is weird, something is up. I agree with everybody now that's been commenting and talking to me, trying to talk sense into me, that maybe this is staged. Something is wrong with that whole thing. The bullet, the gun, the rifle, the angles, the shooter. I don't know, guys. I think also in that Snake Eyes movie, the guy being framed for the assassination, his name is Tyler or Tylerson or something like that. Something connected to the shooter. Something is wrong. Okay? Now, I don't know if I believe this Albert Pike letter stuff, just because some of the terms seem a little... Albert Pike shouldn't have used those terms. It's kind of like when reading the book of Enoch, there's just things that Enoch shouldn't be mentioning. He's mentioning as if he already knows stuff. So, I don't know, guys. I'm going to try to keep this short for me. I know I like to ramble. So, guys, I have no idea what's going on, but I thought I should bring that evidence to your attention. Something is wrong with this, their behavior. I don't trust Charlie Kirk as far as I could throw him. And I was under the impression that maybe he turned, and that's why they killed him. They very well could be pushing us towards war with Israel, because that's where they're going to do the according to the Bible, which is already fulfilled. It's already done. The second coming already happened. It's documented by the Romans and the Jews in the first century. A documented event. Sorry, guys. We're going to do another video on the second coming and how it already happened. Could have only happened in the first century according to Jesus, according to the prophets, according to the book of Revelation. It's a first century event, but they're now recreating it to bring in their Jewish Messiah to undo everything Christ and Christianity did. So, in order for their story to come true, all the nations have to be against Israel. And once there's this war with Israel, that's when they could unleash their second coming, their trick, some event, some projector in the sky, also an alien invasion, something to unite all the armies of the world. They're going to have some trick. It's going to be psychological warfare. Don't forget, all warfare is based on deception. So they're going to probably have a fake second coming, people resurrected that could be. I know I sound crazy. I'm just trying to think of what's the point. But in order for the Bible to come true, just like the Romans, all the nations were against Judah during this time. All the nations have to be against Israel in order for their fake second coming to come true. So they're going to have to make all the nations hate them. Okay? So I don't know, guys. You can leave comments, let me know what you guys think. I'm really getting burnt out with this whole thing. I want to move on to just go back to doing Bible videos, but I just wanted to concede and let you guys know that you're right, something's not adding up. There's more to this story. And I don't trust Charlie Kirk. I don't trust his wife. I don't trust Trump, Shapiro. And I don't trust how the mainstream is just going with it, right? So anyways, guys, let me know what you think. I kind of want to drop this whole topic. Let's just let time go and see what happens. All right, so thank you guys for watching, and God bless you all, and I hope you guys are well.